Testing abracadooble. Dubalacubra. We're back with Binding of Isaac. Chupra Kadupra. Did all my widgets break last night? I think all my widgets... There we go. Oh, anyway, I am the freaking Chupra Kadupra. As Blitz would say. Anyway, no. No, I'm not being jokey right now. Seems a large portion of the people of this country don't seem to understand how government works. Which is very confusing to me since it seems like one of the most cookie-cutter and easy things to understand in the world. Like, the ease at which to understand how government works, it's insanely simple. It's a group of people that governs the nation. The state's job is to make sure that the people and the state and the nation are being benefited and basically not screwed over. Governing requires, it requires two things: regulations and trust. Currently, I don't think we have either of those. Anyway, what several people don't seem to understand is that in order to have regulations and trust, and the way the Founding Fathers saw it, we have three branches of government. Anyone tell me what those three branches of government are? That's right, kids. The executive, the judiciary, and the legislative. In clear, simple terms, as I learned it once in middle school or elementary school, I forget which year it was, the jobs of those three branches are super simple. One of them makes the laws, one of them interprets the laws, and the other executes the laws. Now, when you have the word executive, you might think, oh, executive, like the executive suite, or the executive, like a corporate executives and stuff. Like the bigwigs, the fat cats, the people who make all the choices and make all the rules and all that other fun nonsense. But, no. Executive just means that they execute the laws. They don't get to write the laws. They don't get to interpret the laws. They have to execute the laws as dictated by Congress and the judges. Part part of executing laws involves signing them into legislation. The way our country works, we have the three branches doing their job as follows. A bill gets formed in the legislative branch, the bill gets voted on, and then that bill is brought over from one house to the other. House of Representatives votes on it, Senate votes on it. And then... oh no. I'm gonna die here, aren't I? It's that weirdly persistent creep. And I won heart now. I knew it. Anyway, so when a bill becomes a law, the bill is basically passed from house to house, being refined until they figure out all the little fine details of it.
You disappoint me.
Got a bit of a cold right now, I think. Anyway,
Found it.
So that bill is then taken after it's signed by the Senate and everyone is approved. It's taken back to the House to see if they approve of any of the changes the Senate made. Then they sends it back to the Senate if they make changes, and once everyone's done approving changes and stuff, then it goes to the president, who can either say, hey, let's do this, or no, we're not doing this. That's the executive power. That's the only thing that the Constitution gives the president as far as executing the laws, as far as their control over the laws. Now, keep flipped for now. I can come back for that later. If I can get the school bag, that'd be great. If I can survive this room, I hate those yellow pointy flies. And I got a free bomb. Anyway, then, once those laws are signed into power, it's up to the judiciary to later tell you how they're enforced. Or to judge the laws. Oh, that's a good one. That's a very good set of stuff. Anyway, Curse of the Labyrinth. I love it. It's not even a curse. It's just a really good floor design. So anyway, and then from that point on, the president's only job is to enforce the law. Screw it, I'll take all 3 Rotten Hearts. Why not? I don't need to mindlessly smashing buildings and all that other fun stuff right now, because without Dogtooth howling, I have no reason to suspect that there's anything to blow up. I still need to find 2 bombs and 2 keys. That's 1 bomb and 1 key worth. There's a half part that I'm gonna need later. One bomb. Down. Now I need a key. The odds of this rock having something in it. Very good. I'll figure it out based on this shop over here. Got a bomb. BFFs. I'll take a blue now. Bounce up a key. Super low. I might be able to drop an item that I need. Maybe he'll drop a bomb. Who knows? If I had safety scissors, he'd be giving me a bunch of them right now. So yeah. There are no keys anywhere on this floor. Hmm. Of course, it gives me this tantalizing room with some good stuff, but nothing else. Or nothing that I can reach anyway. Oh. My only hope is to find a key in this. There was no key in that. Or to reroll into Skeleton Key or Pyromaniac. Or something that gives me flight. That'd be useful too. If I can get that, then I can... Right. I already used all my charges. Flip is far more useful right now, so I'm keeping that. And this floor really has no poop to destroy. Okay. So anyway, there's some very concerning things going on in the country right now as far as overreach of executive powers.
Excellent.
One such thing being that the office of president has started to accumulate as much power as possible. And is starting to ignore orders from the judicial branch. Regardless of where those orders come from, the president is beholden to the orders of the judicial branch. Like, there's no getting around that part of the Constitution. You can't just say, oh no, I don't agree with the order. Yeah, Congress basically has all the power to do all the stuff. The executive branch just is there to enact what they say to do. They also control the military. Hate this room so much. Well, more specifically, I hate these enemies. There's the key I needed last turn, or last round. Now, let's talk about some interesting things I've noticed online. Apparently, the world is wondering why the United States isn't in the streets protesting the Nazi regime that has taken over. Or the fact that citizens are getting deported, or the fact that literally it's a wholly unconstitutional demagogue in the office that thinks that what he says goes, because he supposedly thinks himself king. Let's see, what was I gonna say next? The reason that they are wondering this is because the fact that, rest assured, there are protests going on. There's blackouts, boycotts, and protests. But the administration has seized the dissemination of information. Which is Fascist 101. An uneducated, unaware populace is super easy to control versus one that is constantly informed or knows what's going on. Okay, so I hated that other room. I hate this room more. My confidence in this run has dropped completely. Well, now it's even less there than before. Oops. Now, when I say seize the flow of the dissemination of information, one might wonder what I mean by that. Plain and simple, one of the first things that this regime did once they decided to, once they were in place, was to immediately cut the flow of information from every source possible that wasn't the state. This was what they were doing by replacing all of the non-biased sources with right-wing biased sources of information. Like, on military bases, you can only have Fox on and Newsmax now. That is a thing, and that is a thing that only fascists do. Press passes have been restricted from the people who have questioned the regime. And the people who are in the regime has also threatened punishment on dissenters. Which is definitely not something America does. They're supposed to have freedom of press. That's the First Amendment violated. Also, all research in medical progress and science was also ground to a halt because the fact that having an aware populace, like I said, makes them impossible to control. They attacked our trust in the media and our trust in our institutions. That's the biggest thing that has been destroyed by this regime, is that we no longer trust each other, our institutions, our media, anything that can possibly give us any source of news that is contrary to what the rhetoric that the current regime wants us to have. None of it is trustworthy now to us. Because we're so so tribal and polarized on it right now that fear is controlling a large chunk of the population. And right-wingers use fear to control their constituents, meanwhile left-wingers use hope. What's frustrating is that now there's a whole group of people who grew up listening to the right-wing drivel and New World Order conspiracy theories. And now they're dictating everything that has to do with, like, policy for everyone. Decorum is gone. Fair fights are gone. There's no low too low to go to. Curse of the Maids, everyone. My least favorite secret room layout.
Yeah, not bad.
Nah, not a fan of any of these rooms.
Found it.
Not too bad, I guess.
A wait for run, we'll take it, why not? So then they decided to remove anyone that wasn't a loyalist, so installing sycophants. So no one will question So they punish dissenters, install sycophants, stop people from having access to information, threaten anyone who reports what they don't want to be reported on, and now we are in a Christofascist oligarchy that is basically the Fourth Reich. And for some reason, a large chunk of the American populace does not see this. They think they voted for this. Here's the lesson on trade. Sally has apples because Sally lives in a country that can grow apples. Bob also has apples, but he only has apples for 2 months out of the year. Meanwhile, Sally has apples for 11 months out of the year. One of the months overlaps, but the other month doesn't. So for 1 month out of the year, Bob is growing more apples than Sally. Meanwhile, 11 months out of the year, Sally is growing more apples than Bob. Or 10 months out of the year. Bob wants to have apples in a month that he can't have apples. They simply don't grow where he lives. So, he offers to trade with Sally on the month that she doesn't get apples to get some of her apples when he doesn't have apples. That is the basic rudimentary purpose of trade. Now, say Bob, who only has apples 2 months out of the year, decides that he doesn't need Sally's apples. Then they think that the trade deal is unbalanced because Bob only gets apples a certain amount of time and Sally only gets apples a certain amount of time.
Let's go.
That Sally has too many apples. While Bob can impose tariffs on Sally's apples and make it so that it's harder to get Sally's apples.
Shoot. I failed.
Well, then now Sally's apples become more unaffordable than Bob's apples, but at the same time Bob now loses out on having apples available all year round as opposed to only 1 month out of the year. Now, fast forward a bit. Say that Bob and Sally have a good deal going on. Bob has now found a nice species of apple that lives in this climate. And now they both grow apples like 8 months out of the year, with an overlap of 4 months total where they're both growing apples. Sally has invented this cool device that can turn Bob's apples into cider. Bob does not have this device, and to set up the device would take a huge amount of time, effort, and growing season that could have been used, growing apples. But, for some reason, only Sally can make the cider. Bob trades the apples, Sally gives him the cider. Cider, by the way, is completely different than apple juice. Bob can make apple juice. Bob's customers know he can make apple juice. Sally, making her refined cider. Versus Bob's apple juice. And Bob's apple juice has different uses. The cider is like an alcoholic beverage used for like parties and celebrations. The apple juice is just a basic juice. One day Bob decides to go crazy and say, "Hey Sally, I don't need your cider anymore, we can make our own." And suddenly all of it collapses because now Bob doesn't have any apple cider. 4 months out of the year, Bob doesn't have any apples to make apple juice. And the juice that Bob does make doesn't do the same stuff as the cider that Sally makes. Now replace Bob and Sally with Canada, and cider and apples with potash and crude oil. Nations don't have to be completely isolated from the rest of the world because it's not a closed system. A single nation is not a closed system because you have people outside the nation that are interacting with it. And that's healthy for an economy to have more trade and commerce. What's not healthy is having an economy that focuses solely on cutting off as many customers as possible and then expecting your remaining customer base to make up the difference. Because as dumb as people are nowadays, it seems, it is not sensitive. Like seriously, why are we doing this? Actually, why am I doing this? Why is my back so tight right now? Onward, Harlequin baby. Ooh, my favorite. Downpour XL. So another thing that this country decided, or that the idiot-in-chief decided to do, was not just stopping us from helping people globally, or no, he stopped us from helping out people globally, calling it waste and fraud to send our money overseas for various enrichment programs to make it so that we don't have to deal with problems in the future. That's the thing about this regime. It is so short-sighted in its thinking that it thinks that having research for certain things because this is just such a frustrating subject to talk about. I hate the fact that my nation's collapsing around me and there's nothing I can do about it except for rant into the void where people are not going to listen. People don't come to me for politics, they come to me for entertainment. And it's distracting me, too. Yes, we're going conjoined today. Should have been Lilith. Yes, my army of minions. It's not where I wanted to go. My kingdom for a key. My confidence in this run dies very steadily.
Speed.
That was not a key. But that was. Excuse me. There's a gate ball. I'll take a breakfast. was the biggest waste of a key I've ever done. Oh, planetarium chance went up at least. Mucormycosis is a good one. Of course, doesn't apply to sacrifices. Why would it? It gave me just what I needed. Some more hearts to bleed. Red candle. Man, I'm fast.
Paralysis. Help.
Of course, there's a health down pill. Forgot that you could do that.
Gotcha.
I don't want any of those. Well, that's a good one. Oh yeah, hypercoagulation, duh. I'll take random locusts over... Hi, boo.
The lovers.
Oh, come on. That is lame.
Gotcha. 48-hour energy. Range down.
Well, I'll take that, I guess. And then one more reroll for the road. Let's get some angel items. I'm so annoyed that I can't get that. Onward to Mausoleum Gehenna. Planetarium spotted. If I'm not Curse of the Blind either. I'm minuscule now. Like, clip through collision minuscule. Why does it go so slow? Oh look, a confessional. And I have a cracked heart. Might be worth it to use the confessional. That is why I did that. And that did exactly what I needed to do faster than I wanted or expected. And small.
Ready anytime. That's it. Level up.
Strange Liquid Trisagion is a good combo, it looks like. A very good combo. Or Mysterious Fluid and Trisagion. Four pips. Gee, how did I know? I must be psychic or something. And there's tier 3 item in this. Oh, come on! I still don't have a full charge.
The High Priestess.
How did he one-shot me? It's frustrating. Oh well, enough Isaac for today. We'll come back with another game in a few seconds.